Unencumbered by political correctness, undeterred in her mission to spread the truth, unafraid to be a true conservative, she's unapologetic, uncompromising, unwavering, and an undeniably powerful voice when we need it most. This is Rose Unplugged.
All of you out there know that Mike Lindell and MyPillow have been part of this cancel culture. They want to make up for not being in the big stores, to get the word out about how many hundreds of products that they have that you might not even know about. They're having this $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, just $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. The premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, any size, $25. Go to MyPillow.com and make sure that you use promo code ROSE. MyPillow.com, promo code ROSE, and when you do, you will get free shipping on your entire order.
This is Ashley Klingensmith with Americans for Prosperity. We are building a movement to reverse course on Bidenomics and its broken promises. It is called Prosperity is Possible. Prosperity is Possible promotes policies that break down the government barriers holding people back so everyone can chase their unique American dream. Join the movement for a stronger economy. Visit prosperityspossible.com to learn more about our solutions and how you can get involved. That's prosperityspossible.com.
We want to take a look at the past few weeks and review the immense bias of the Alvin Bragg. He's such a liberal I'll tell you what, the only person that you can talk to about this, that I want to talk to you about this, is Gregg Jarrett. You know him. He's a Fox News legal analyst. He's a best-selling author. In fact, The Trial of the Century is one of his latest books, and that, of course, is about the Scope monkey trial. He's with us today. Welcome, Gregg Jarrett. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, Rose. Good to be with you. Nice to hear your voice.
It's nice to hear yours, too. You're one of my favorite people out there. You really are. So listen, I got to pick your brain. There's so many things I want to ask you. I want to start with the jury. So they are coming back, I think, on May 28th. Is that right? They had about a week off?
Right.
Okay. One of the first questions I have for you is, they were not sequestered in any way. Was that unusual? And I mean, there's just so much out there. Everybody's talking about this. Did you find that unusual, or is that something that is typical?
I do find it unusual. I'm not suggesting that for the last 5 weeks they should have been sequestered, but during jury deliberations, they absolutely should be sequestered. And I think it's a huge mistake for the judge to let them have a week off before closing arguments, because he is creating an environment in which they may be unduly influenced. You've got a holiday coming up, people getting together. Their friends and family know that they've been serving, and so the temptation is there to say something to them that might influence the case. But, this is an example of Judge Juan Merchan's utter incompetence. I can't figure out if he's so stupid he's incompetent, or he's so biased that, he has rigged this trial against Trump.
Well, I mean, I think a little bit of both, or maybe a lot of both. But, Gregg, I got to ask you, incompetence aside and bias aside, did he that what he would accomplish by not having them sequestered would be to his benefit? I mean, because he obviously has a bias, so I'm going to say to his benefit, prosecution's benefit.
Well, there's a lot of mendacity behind every decision that Juan Merchan makes. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the back of his mind he thought, we can reinforce the guilty verdict here by giving them a week to be influenced.
Wow. I was on your page, thegreggjarrett.com, and you've got something here that says that Michael Cohen, who was their star witness, of course, prosecution's star witness, you said that it looks like there could be a surprise that could sink the prosecution's plans. What was that all about?
Well, I think the surprise was twofold. First of all, he got trapped on cross-examination and shown to the jury that he lied to the jury about a critical conversation with Trump that never happened. Phone logs and text messages prove it was impossible. So, when you're caught lying to the jury as opposed to the myriad of lies he has told in the past. That has a tremendous impact. But the other was that, he's not just a convicted fraud, perjurer, tax evader, but goodness, he sort of coolly and calmly admitted, oh, yeah, I committed embezzlement and larceny, and I ripped off the man sitting at the table in front of me, Donald Trump, to the tune of $60,000. And that has to have a sort of a surprise impact on the jury. It already further sullies a ruined credibility of Alvin Bragg's star witness.
All right. In your opinion, what do you think the jury is thinking, honestly? Because, there's some lawyers on the jury and finance people. These are people, they know what's going on. How do you think they received all of this? And particularly, because I do want to get to Bob Costello, what he had to say when he took the stand. And I got to go back to Stormy Daniels, because that was like listening to like a porn novel being played out. It was weird. It was so strange, Greg. I couldn't even believe that was going on in one of our courtrooms in this case. Unbelievable.
Well, Mershon and Bragg wanted her to take the stand to smear Trump, even though nothing that she knew or said was relevant to the charges against Trump. In fact, on cross, she was asked, if she knew anything about the trial. And she laughed and laughed. Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything about charges. So what that really was is what the rules of evidence forbid: prejudicial information that outweighs any probative value. Nothing that she said was probative, and any competent, smart, intelligent, experienced judge would never have allowed it. But Mershon is the opposite of that. You ask what I think the jury is thinking.
Yes.
I'll only tell you what a normal jury would be thinking. They would be repulsed by Michael Cohen for all the reasons I've stated. And what's so insidious is prosecutors knew about the $60,000 larceny. Instead of immediately putting him in handcuffs, charging him and prosecuting him, throwing him back in the hoosegow, what did they do? They made him their star witness, forgave him of all crimes. And why did they do that? Because they knew he would lie some more. They wanted Cohen to lie.
Wow.
Alvin Bragg should indict himself for suborning perjury.
But it makes sense, though, doesn't it? I think you're absolutely right. This is it's been astounding to watch this, Greg. And again, I'm looking at this thinking, is this really happening? And then Bob Costello gets up, and then clearly there's a bias against Costello that's coming from the judge. And he was on the stand. There were so many interruptions. The idea behind that is what? Do you think a jury tolerates that? Or are they suspicious when they see interruption after interruption? I would think that they would become suspicious at some point.
Yeah, I would hope they would. Costello shredded Cohen's credibility.
Yeah.
And exposed him for lying to the jury. And that's why Judge Juan Mershon suddenly jumped in. He was rescuing the prosecution.
Yes.
Sustaining meritless objections, scolding Costello, over-the-top stuff. So that tells me this is a rigged case. It's engineered to convict. And recall, Rose, that Mershon allowed both Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels, unfettered latitude to trash Trump with endless narratives.
Yes.
But when the defense calls Costello, the judge shut him down faster than a New York minute. Nothing in this case can be described as remotely fair. It's not a fair trial. It's an Orwellian show trial with a preordained outcome. There is no presumption of innocence, only the expectation of guilt.
And unlike Stormy and Cohen, Bob Costello actually had information that directly related to the case. Might have been the only one who did.
Yeah. Not only that, but he was there in the grand jury, called as a witness long ago. And he tells the story of how he had hundreds of pages of exculpatory evidence that would have benefited Donald Trump. But Bragg said, oh, no, we can't give this to the grand jury. It's hearsay. Well, hearsay is allowed in a grand jury hearing. There really are no rules of evidence. Double, triple, quadruple hearsay is admissible. Why? Because there's no defense in a grand jury. It's all one-sided. And so there is an affirmative duty imposed by law on prosecutors. If they know of exculpatory evidence, they're duty-bound to present it. And their failure to present it, what is that? It's called obstruction of justice.
Yeah. Wow. Can we jump over to Hunter Biden for just a moment? I know you don't mind talking about that either. But his tax trial, the judges agreed to delay because the gun trial is still going forward in June. Does it matter if it was delayed, in your opinion?
I think that the Biden White House and Joe Biden himself have got to be angry at Defense Attorney Abby Lowell, who represents Hunter, because now what happens is the trial happens in the weeks before the presidential election. So it will be ringing in a deafening way in the ears of voters, all of the corruption and the illegality associated with Hunter Biden and, Joe Biden involved himself. So, Abby Lowell did it because, we've got to have more time. Well, what he was doing unwittingly is making it worse for the Biden White House.
Wow. The special counsel wants to use the laptop as evidence in the firearm trial?
Yeah, of course. Joe Biden, Democrats, Hunter Biden have said all along, it's not my laptop. It's Russian disinformation. Well, now, after everybody has confirmed it is his laptop, it's authentic, the Department of Justice says, yeah, of course it's authentic. It's self-authenticating. And we're going to use it as evidence against Hunter Biden in his gun trial, which begins in early June. So, it just sort of underscores that, that team of 51 intel officials who signed a phony letter saying it was Russian disinformation just before the last election to help Joe Biden get elected, they're all liars, and they knew it wasn't Russian disinformation. And now even Biden's DOJ says, yeah, it's not Russia. It's real.
Wow. All right, before we go, just one last question. Getting back to Trump and when the jury returns on the 28th, what do you expect? What is your gut telling you?
Well, look, closing arguments make or break a case. And I would expect the defense to deliver a powerful closing argument saying that the essential elements of the alleged crimes were never proven. Business records were not false, they were accurate. And Trump had no involvement in them anyway. There's no evidence he willfully violated election laws, and no such laws were ever broken. And it's factually impossible to influence an election after it's over, which is how the indictment reads. Even if Donald Trump knew about the Stormy Daniels non-disclosure agreement, so what? That's awful. So where exactly is the crime? Where's the fraud? Where's the conspiracy? This is what I call a Bigfoot case, a trial in search of an imaginary crime.
Well said, and a perfect note to end on. Gregg Jarrett, thank you so much. TheGreggJarrett.com. Check him out. Thank you so much for being on today. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, take care.